Hey everybody, it's Sunday. Most people play football, but we're a hockey family here, right?
Booyah!
That's right. There are 3 games on the schedule today. Had a lot of fun with a 55-minute video yesterday for the 11 games that I talked about. Only 3 today. Whole lot easier. Anaheim, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Washington, Pittsburgh, Winnipeg, and Washington, Calgary. So let's go over the games. I've cleaned up the file even more. Looking good. Didn't have a lot of luck with it yesterday. Had some, I watched the Florida-Detroit game was a lot of fun to watch. I had some Florida guys. Dadnoff played really well. The goals were disallowed, whatever. It was a lot of fun. So 3 games today so we can focus a little bit more. We're not going to do a 55-minute video this time. We're going to try to keep it under 10. So let's talk about overall the teams, and then we're going to get into by player for the fantasy aspect of things. So here are your team goals and team shots for all these teams throughout the season, just teams playing. It's going to sort by the number of goals per game on average. So Pittsburgh scoring the most, then the Caps, then Anaheim, then Calgary. Recently, I always like recency bias for some reason, Anaheim's really been putting up goals the last 4 games. So they're playing Carolina. I'll show you how we flip this around and look and show how many goals Carolina's been giving up. So Anaheim's been scoring out. The Caps woke up against Edmonton last night, and here's teams that aren't scoring. Relax, kiddo. Calgary, Winnipeg, and Carolina has had some spotty goals, but on average, they can really be in the dumps. So that's something to watch. Winnipeg, the last couple games, maybe they'll break out. Calgary really, over the last 5 games, they don't put up more than 2 goals. So interesting. Anyway, so if you flip this around and go by opponent, what you see is, for example, like how many goals has Anaheim been giving up? They've been giving up a lot lately. That's interesting. 4, 6, 6, 3 in the last 4 games. How many's Calgary been giving up? 1, 1, a little less, but they give up a lot to Toronto and Edmonton. I'm sorry, that's Carolina. That's Carolina is giving up. They can give up 5 or 6 depending on who's in net. Calgary doesn't give up as many. So even though it's Anaheim playing Calgary, right? No, it's Washington playing Calgary. It's Anaheim playing Carolina. So Carolina this could be one of those games where they give up 3, 4, or 5 because Anaheim's been scoring a lot. Calgary doesn't give up as much. Pittsburgh generally doesn't give up as much, especially recently. They haven't given up more than 2 goals a game in the last 4. Something to watch out for. This is Winnipeg. Winnipeg is going to give up like 2 or 4, but they can also give up some goals. And the Caps have been giving up a little more lately, but Holtby's generally be okay. So Caps are probably going to either give up 4 or give up 1, something like that. Now, let's bring this back. So when looking at your team perspective again, knowing that Carolina can give up some goals, Calgary doesn't give up as many. I see Anaheim as a big team you want to load up. I think Anaheim's probably going to win this game. We can start looking at goalies. I have highlighted like people that are confirmed, I believe, are Mike Smith and Darling are the only 2 confirmed. Hellbuck's likely based on Daily Faceoff's information. And they have others potentially. The weird one is you don't see Ryan Miller on here for Anaheim. He may be starting his first game of the season, I believe. That's what Daily Faceoff is thinking. So it might not be Gibson on Anaheim. I don't even have Miller in here because I don't believe he's played at all. So that could be an interesting iffy. That's why I like to not talk too much about goalies in these videos because you never know what's going to happen. But it does come into play. So once again, looking at the teams, I think that I don't know. We'll talk more in a fantasy perspective. I don't really know necessarily who's going to win these games yet, but let's talk about the numbers of the players. So Anaheim and Carolina to start. Start with that game. Anaheim, like I said, this team looks like a big offensive team you want to take for fantasy today. So who's been putting up the points and who do you want? Getzlaf. So on average here, let's get rid of the subtotals on this. This is line 1. Getzlaf is doing 4.6. So you want to pick up Getzlaf. Raquel also has big nights, and Perry maybe. Lindholm is back, I guess, after not being in for a lot. He's back. That's interesting. I don't know if you can put in Manson. Boy, all these guys have been creating, but it's Getzlaf and Raquel are your two big you got to grab. Then on the second line, Montour and Cogliano, 6s, 7s, and 8s. Silverberg. Boy, I feel like Silverberg is due to have a big game, right? For Met. Boy, it's interesting. They're really spread out. Case, Andres Case, or whatever they pronounce it, and Grant. You might want to grab. They didn't perform last night. Wagner and Logan Shaw. They're really all over the place. You can see how you kind of need to craft a few different lineups with Anaheim to cover everybody. Tough call. I think you do want to do these two to try to get one of these nights because they're going to be fairly cheap. 4,300 and 3,500 for Derek Grant. And then you want Raquel Getzlaf, maybe Perry. Do you do Montour, Cogliano, maybe for Matt? These guys can also put up points, as you see right here, right? And Carolina's probably going to give it. It's interesting about the lineup with Carolina. Let's look at Carolina instead. Carolina.
This is an ad about Pop Skinnies.
Skinny Pop is what it's called. Justin Falco and Diva. You can see that the points are, except for Skinner. Skinner and Justin Williams are nice. I know that's Justin Williams with Carolina. Relax.
So I can do it.
It's a very annoying sound. Skinner and Williams. Yeah, if you're going to grab Carolina. If Miller's playing maybe and you don't know if they're going to give up some goals, you could grab Tuvo, who will have a day with, they have a big game here with everybody. Victor Rask. This team used to put up some offense last year. I'm surprised. And Stahl will come out and play a game once in a while. So if you're going to go Anaheim, Aho can have a big. I don't know if Anaheim plays. It seems like you really want to have Skinner numbers wise, right? So you just grab one guy. Here's your freaky fourth line guy. George maybe does something.
Wait, what?
Falk. Skinner. Falk is his name. It's not a bad word. Spelled Falk. Slavin, Stahl, Lindholm. You can see what you want. I don't necessarily like Carolina that much. I think Anaheim, even though this game's in Carolina, I like Anaheim's chances. Let's look at the Penguins and Winnipeg. Pittsburgh, always dangerous, right? So Crosby, put your hands above your head if you can't breathe. Crosby, still doing 4.4 points a game. Hasn't broken out for more than 5 in a while. I'm always wrong with guessing Crosby, so I'll say take him today. I don't know. Letang also pretty solid, so those two are big. Gensel every 3 games. Gensel's due to have another 4-point or something game here. Is Winnipeg giving up goals a little bit? They can. Hellebuck in net is fairly well, though. So maybe there won't be as many goals in this game as you think. But it's Kessel and Malkin.
It says Halloween.
Kessel and Malkin. Hornquist, I had him last night. He didn't do anything. So yeah, it's these two. Sometimes you can grab Rust with that if they maybe prove something you see on the second line, because their power play 1 has Kessel and Malkin and Hornquist. You guys didn't do anything last night. So yeah, this maybe Rust, and then I guess you grab Crosby, Letang, and you can consider Jake Gensel or Connor Sherry. Jeez, I don't want to tell you take everybody. You can see how frequently they come in. Like you may grab one of them, but it's Crosby's probably going to have it over a. You can see how often he hits 5.5 and above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of these 10 games. Is this 12 games? 5 out of 12 games he hits over 5.5 or 5.5 or more, and there's a couple 4.5 and 4s in there too. He's never below 2. Think about that. So. Pretty good. Let's go to Winnipeg. I don't know who's going to win this game, by the way. So Blake. So look at Ehlers with a huge game here, and then sitting around the 2s. That's why his average is so high. Bufflin's more consistent at 4.5. Lion A. Do you like those 3? This is abnormal for Little. Is his price reflecting it? 4,500. Line A is still super expensive. Ehlers, 68 now. Anything on the third line? Kulikov, Tanev. That's interesting that Tanev will have this game once in a while, and he's probably really cheap. 3,100. Yeah, that's something to watch. All right, so with first two lines, these guys are big names, and they do put up over point. Trouba, 4,700. That's not a bad pick this game. So these three, Ehlers and Buffalo, I like Little. Little's all right, but these three too. Because there could be, you see these super greens, there could be these big games. That's why you want to grab these two if you're going to grab on the line here, because they've had enormous games. So to win a big tournament, you got to have a huge game out of somebody. So they have the potential to do that. So you do. It's why I guess you can stay away from Little here, but you grab these two, and then maybe you grab, split a separate lineup and grab these three. Think about doing that. Then there's the Caps in Calgary. I'll go with the Caps last because I'm a Caps fan. Just Calgary, team that, as we saw here, really had not been putting up much offensive-wise the last several games. If Holtby is back and playing better, he played good last night. They're coming us as back-to-back games. Might be a little tired, but so you shouldn't expect too much offense out of them. You can see here that these three on the second line, and what's on power play one with them? TJ Brody's on power play. TJ Brody's a good guy to have here. He's only 5,000. He's a good guy to have. He's a defenseman, right? Yeah. You can see why he's a good guy to have on this team. And even though he's barely outscoring Giordano, he's on the power play. He's probably going to be cheaper than Giordano. He's 500 cheaper. Dougie Hamilton's not as big. I guess you can do Johnny Hockey. You can see you have these big games for Johnny Hockey. Johnny and Sean Monahan are good. Ferland, looks like you can stay away from Ferland on this first line. I don't know how long that's going to last. Brody, Kachuk, and Backlund are fun. They're a fun line to play. They can put up some points. So if you do take Calgary, you do want some of those guys. That's about it. Maybe if you want to grab Versteeg, 3,800. If you've got to grab somebody, you can see he can have a game like this pretty cheap. The Caps. So the Caps probably going to win this game. Assuming they can do back-to-back. They played better last night. Got some out. I think Backstrom was back in the lineup after being hurt with the flu. I guess he was sick with the flu, so he's back. That's helpful. Carlson continues to be really consistent here. He's up on the power play and everything, right? Yeah. Look at OV's 6.7 points still. Again, back at the 8s and the 7s. Watch out. He's early in the season. He puts up goals like this, so maybe you do want him tonight. Kuzi. Devontae Smith-Pelly had a big night last night. Maybe he's breaking out. That's something to watch. He's probably pretty cheap. 3,100. If he's going to be playing on that line, that's an interesting threesome to grab here. And then you can maybe grab Carlson also for the power play. Oshie will have a big night once in a while. I don't think he's hurt. Don't let this get you too down for him. He's a really solid player. I don't know what's going on. Is he not on the power play? He is. I don't understand what's going on. I haven't seen too much of the games. That's weird. It's only 3 games, though. It's a week. It's all right. Everybody has a bad week once in a while. And Lars Eller is a good player. He's a nice guy to grab. Cheap, sitting around. Better than grabbing Versteeg on Calgary. Grab Lars Eller because he'll do this. He'll do at least a 3.5 point game and sometimes that. So those are my reviews for today. We'll see what the goalie situation is. I think grabbing a goalie. Holtby's a good bet because Calgary's not putting up as many goals. How about shots? How many shots is Calgary putting up? In the 20s and 30s. Teams that are putting up big shots are Pittsburgh. So if you think Hellebuck can win, you'll probably get a lot of shots from Pittsburgh. If you grab Hellebuck and he gets a win, you're probably going to have a big point night with Hellebuck in net. Even if he loses the game, still might have some points because they're probably going to get a lot of shots on him. Caps also, but I think Caps are going to run over probably Calgary tonight. And Anaheim's going to get a lot of shots on Carolina, but I think they're going to win that game too. So I think that Holtby's probably a pretty good bet for your goaltender tonight. Either Holtby or Hellebuck. I like if Hellebuck's playing. Darling's what in Carolina? Yeah, I don't think Darling's going to have a good night for Carolina against Anaheim. I think Anaheim's going to put some goals on them. So that's the review for today. We'll be back for tomorrow. If you want to pick up the file, Go to kenbraverman.com. Get one every day for a week for $5. It's pretty good. So we're out.